but there is always something else going on. There's always something in the background, whether it's fatigue, whether it's poor sleep, whether it's digestive issues, whether it's an insulin balance, whether it's a cardiovascular thing. No matter what, there's always something, even if it's as seemingly insignificant as fatigue or low energy, even if we call it as low as that. Because when your body is out of balance, you get these symptoms, you get these things breaking down, you get these things not working optimally. And in that state of imbalance, depending on the cause, and we're going to get into those causes now, another manifestation of that imbalance is often the overproduction and the retention of fat cells. So stress, when we're putting our body under stress, we will generate fat cells. When our thyroid is out of balance, we'll generate fat cells. When there's inflammation, we'll generate fat cells. When there's digestive issues, we'll generate fat cells. And all of these things that are seen in sort of seemingly the background when you're focusing on weight loss, such as the thyroid issues, the inflammation issues, they are the imbalance that's causing your body to want to generate and hold on to fat cells. So look at losing weight as a regaining balance. When we provide balance back to our body, your body will no longer have the need. There is a physiological need that it is creating and holding on to these fat cells, and it will no longer have that need to do that anymore, and it will release them. This is not a case of you eat fat and it sticks to your body. That's not how it works. Dietary fat is practically irrelevant. At most, at the biggest push, it might be a secondary or a tertiary, thirdly, reason why your body could be generating and holding on to fat cells, but dietary fat is not the issue. Someone mentioned cholesterol before. Andre, we're going to get there. Oh, cough, cough. With cholesterol, it's a similar thing. You know, we know it's there in the literature. We know from the physiological data that dietary cholesterol is almost entirely insignificant to the cholesterol numbers on your blood panels. There's esterified and there's non-esterified cholesterol. They're two different things. Dietary cholesterol does not operate in the same way as the cholesterol that is created by your body. Okay, and the same goes for fats. When you eat fat, it doesn't just stick there. The weight gain, the fat cell production is caused because of stress and imbalance within your body. And when your body is stressed and imbalanced, it will hold on to it. Okay, so with that being said, I do want to talk about calories. So what is a calorie? Because this is the first thing, the first pushback that I'll get is that people go, I've been trying to lose weight for a week, 10 years, 25 years, my whole life. I've always been counting calories. I've had some success, but I still need to lose weight. I just can't get my head around not counting calories anymore. I can't get my head around eating loads of nuts and avocados and having spoonfuls of fat and these seemingly high calorie type of foods. I'm worried that I'm going to be overeating these bliss balls and the turmeric lattes and avocados and these types of things. A calorie is simply a unit of measurement. It's not a thing. It's a unit of measurement. It isn't something we eat. We're just measuring the unit of energy that is being produced by the foods we consume. And there's lots of fuzzy line dotted logic. We talk about this sort of dotted line theories a lot with health because, you know, foods contain cholesterol, so therefore they must raise my cholesterol. Foods contain fat, therefore they must make me gain fat. Foods contain oxalate, therefore they must increase the oxalate levels in my body. All three of those statements kind of on face value, you go, yeah, okay, that could be true. But when you actually look at the way the body works and you look at the data and you look at the studies and you look at what we actually know from studying this stuff for the last however many decades, none of those three things hold true. There is no evidence to suggest any of them hold true. In fact, there's evidence to the contrary on all three of them. There's 3 or 4 problems with the calories in versus calories out theory. And I'm not going to sit here and say you cannot lose weight by having a calorie deficit, because you can. What we're talking about is the long-term or even the medium and short-term health implications of doing such a thing, the sustainability of whether you could stick to that, and the potential for you to then gain back all the weight you've lost from calorie depriving yourself. It's not an enjoyable process. It makes you feel crappy. It makes you feel deprived. It makes you crave things. It feels like a battle with your body. It feels like you're forcing the weight off your body. And when you stop this, all of those psychological reasons are why people tend to revert back to their original plan and regain all of the weight. But there's other physiological things that are going on in there. The body uses energy for many, 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 many things. For powering your brain, for pumping your heart, for regulating your temperature, for growing new cells, for growing new bone, for pumping the lymph around your body, for digesting food, for all of these things. Why is there this presumption that any amount of excess energy is going to be used 100% to form fat cells? This doesn't make sense. Your body can use energy in millions of ways. Why would we have this assumption that when you eat slightly more energy than you need, it's going to turn into a fat cell? This doesn't stack up when there's so many other processes that the body could be using this energy for. There isn't evidence to suggest that it would. There is evidence to suggest that all of the things we're about to discuss lead to more fat cells being produced. But this in isolation, being seen as the sole variable of weight gain, is just unbelievably flawed. It also, the calories in versus calories out approach also assumes that these two numbers operate independently. So there's this vague sort of guesstimate that for a female, on average, the average median, I guess the median female would burn 2,000 calories a day. The median male would burn 2,500 calories a day. So if you eat more than that, then if you eat as a female 2,200 calories a day, you'll have 200 units of energy that will all turn to fat. And if you eat 1,800 a day, you'll be in deficit by 200 units of energy that will all turn into fat cells and disappear. I don't know. These numbers don't operate independently. Firstly, everyone's number is completely different, obviously, based on your basal metabolic rate, how much exercise you do, what, sedentary lifestyle, but also the health of your metabolism and how much energy that your body naturally uses each day is very different to the next person. Plus, these numbers can vary by up to 20% each day. Today, you may require, just completely independently of everything else, 2,400 calories. Tomorrow, you may require 1,600 calories, and it could be anything within that range, give or take, on any given day. The flip side of this, which is the deficit, or how much you are putting into your body in a hope to create that deficit to lose weight, isn't independent from the amount that comes in. Your body regulates this, and it will down-regulate it or up-regulate it based on what it can see is happening. So think back to caveman times, Paleolithic times, cavewoman times. Back in those days, we were in periods of abundance and famine, abundance and famine, abundance and famine. It was rare that we would just have a steady source of food ongoing. So your body we have evolved with this mechanism where your body will, if you deprive it and drop your calorie intake down to, let's say, 1,200 calories a day, over a period of a couple of weeks or so, your body will shut down processes, create efficiencies, and down-regulate your caloric requirements to 1,200 calories a day. This is absolutely proven in the literature, and it explains why a lot of people, when they try a calorie deficit diet, will lose weight, have success for a few weeks, and then plateau and find it harder and harder. There is also, and this one is a bit of a sort of an older, more sort of conventionally wheeled out concept around calories, but this notion that a calorie is a calorie does sort of stack up as it doesn't really make sense, does it? Why we would look at it this way? Calories from a chocolate bar is not the same as calories from kale, but they are. We are literally measuring a unit of energy. However, it shows the fallacy of using calories as your measure. If you're going, oh my goodness, I ate 3,000 calories today. I had 2 green smoothies. I had a tofu scramble with some kale and spinach, and I cooked that in coconut oil, and I had, versus, oh, I only ate 1,500 calories today. Yeah, I didn't eat anything until lunch, and then I just had a chocolate bar, and then didn't eat anything till dinner, and I just had a packet of crisps, or a packet of chips, as most of you guys would say. Which of those do you think is going to provide your body with the requirements and the tools it needs to rebalance and start to release those fat cells and remove those fat cells? It doesn't make sense to focus so strictly on calories. Is there any of you guys in the chat that are still concerned that we need to be, I guess, looking at calories as our main metric? And if so, what other information could I possibly give you? What do you need from me to believe me? Maybe you just need the rest of this session. But I really want to really bring this home, because we talk about fat a lot on lots of different calls, and we're going to be talking about